Well,
An even
let
greater
me
legacy.
let me ask you this, Will. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool last season. Arne Slot took over, and Arne Slot looks on course to win the Premier League this season. But he's done it with a squad that was entirely, bar Federico Chiesa, if you want to count him. But he's done it with a squad that was entirely brought in and developed and played under Jurgen Klopp. Do you think Arne Slot winning the Premier League this season with that squad enhances Jurgen Klopp's legacy or takes away from it?
Takes away from it.
Takes away from it. So you don't see
Really?
the novelty in Jurgen Klopp building the squad for the next manager, but leaving at the right time to make sure that the manager's not taking over a situation which the pressure's too high and the squad's not stable and the expectations swallow and the club starts to spiral. Do you not see the level of
but I don't
what Klopp done?
Yeah, I think I cut out there or like I was frozen or something.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
I think the internet tried to save you still.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so the reason why I think that it takes away from Klopp's legacy is because Klopp was only able to win it one time, right? So now that you had Slot come in, who a lot of people expected Liverpool to fall off, right? Like nobody expected like Liverpool to be where they are right now, unless
I didn't expect them to win, but I didn't expect them to fall off.
Well, no, but in terms of so when I say fall off, right? So for example, I thought that Liverpool were done, like being actual contenders. I still
but you also wanted Ancelotti sacked, Will. So that
well, I mean, let me finish. I still so I still thought that they would finish third this season, but I didn't think that they would be in like a title race for a majority of the season. Like that's what I mean in terms of like fall off. Whereas in underneath like Jurgen Klopp, we're used to seeing them in the title race for a majority of his tenure there. So now I think with Slot coming in and with these same players going on to now win the title and to see how he's been able to manage this team, maybe you can say a little bit better than what Klopp did in his last season. I do think that it hurts Klopp's legacy a bit because of how fast Slot is now starting his career at Liverpool. But that doesn't mean that that Klopp should not still be talked about highly because of what he did to get the squad to this point. But I think it does hurt him a little bit, 100%.
Will. I've got a question for you, Will.
Okay, yeah, hold on, just real quick, bro. When the next guy comes in and when he's doing better right away, I think it does kind of hurt if you didn't end on the best note. That's all. Go ahead.
But the best note, maybe not. But how many managers come into a situation that Slot comes into, where the whole midfield has been rebuilt for you? You still have title winners in your squad. You've just challenged for a title the previous year. Like how many managers walk into a situation like that?
Well, I mean, not many. It's a very specific scenario, but the thing
is, and the reason I asked you that is because that's why I think this league title enhances Klopp's legacy because of that. There's
because look at last season, right? Like Liverpool, the second half of the season, and I mean, like Tom could probably tell me a little bit more, but Liverpool were in the title race, and then was it the loss to was it West Ham, Tom?
We lost to...
Or was it Crystal Palace?
Everton? Was it Everton?
It was Palace. We lost to Palace, Everton, drew with United, and drew with West Ham in like a 6-game stretch.
Yeah, so like Liverpool were on a good run, and then they ended up kind of falling off second half, right, towards the end. And you could say that that's because of Klopp's mismanagement of the team, right? Like the tactics weren't necessarily working. And the thing is, but Liverpool were creating a lot of chances. They weren't putting it away. But it does look like underneath Slot, they look a lot more organized, right? It's the same group of players. It's like Tom said, all that he brought in was Chiesa, and he probably didn't even want the guy. So it's the same group of players, but yet they look a lot better this season than they did last season. And it's not just because everybody else is falling off. It's because I think that Slot's in-game management and his system makes them look more compact.
Well, do you think
that is an indictment on Klopp?
Coaching so you think Slot's coaching is more of a reason for Liverpool winning this league title than Jurgen Klopp building the squad?
Yes and no. I don't think it's black and white. Like yes, but at the same time no, because it's like what Kunle said. Slot did come into a team that had Van Dijk, that had Mo Salah, right? You got Trent, you got like all these other good players there. So he did come into a very good situation. It's not like Liverpool needed a rebuild, but I just think he's done a fantastic
we
job.
We didn't need that though because Jurgen Klopp had took that on the year before. If Arne, if Jurgen Klopp had left after the year we finished 5th, Arne Slot would have walked into a side that, instead of having Dominic Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister, Wataru Endo, a really developed Curtis Jones, he would have walked into a side that had 34-year-old Jordan Henderson, 31-year-old Fabinho, 29-year-old Keita, 36-year-old Milner, and 28-year-old Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yes. And this is why it goes to that question about I see a lot of people troll Arsenal and banter Arsenal with like what phase is Slot in. Well, whatever phase FSG are in from when they took over to now, so what, phase 27 or something, right? That's where they are. And that's why I think when it comes to both Pep and Klopp in this conversation, yes, they play a part in the squad build because they'll sign off on certain players. Maybe they've chased a few of the individuals or put names forward. But this is about your club being run well at that level. And the one thing I don't think City will do, City won't just buy players for short-termism to help Pep. They will also make a fundamental decision of what is best for us as a football club for the next 5 years with this signing, with whether Pep's here or not. I think Liverpool have made those decisions. I don't think everything's done right. We've got, we'll buy this player here, and put them on big wages to help Klopp get over the line, or Pep get over the line and win one more title before they leave, even though we might then be stuck with a aging player who's fading on stupid money for 4 years. Those clubs won't do it, in my personal opinion, because they think beyond the manager who is currently in the dugout. And that is how the best clubs in the modern day era are run. So I don't think it takes away from Klopp's legacy. I don't think it takes away from Klopp's legacy in any way, shape, or form that Slot's doing well this year. Equally, I don't think it takes away from Slot that he walks into a good situation. That, for me, is brilliant decision-making from FSG. Doesn't mean they're perfect at everything. It means that Slot is a manager who can... Because, again, if he was a bust, doesn't matter how well-run Liverpool are, it wouldn't be working if he was bad man manager. His tactics, in-game decisions were poor. It shows how brilliant Slot is. It shows what a brilliant manager and leader Klopp was, but it shows how well they've run the squad and how good their due diligence was in terms of the replacement. And I think City are going to do similar. They're going to buy players that are going to help this team under Pep get better. Maybe they will change the style of football to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of the game. When it comes to the replacement manager, it will be someone that can pick up that squad and go, I can work with that day one. You might need a player or two because everybody typically does, but there won't be the need. It's why Amorim didn't go to Liverpool. Not because he's a bad coach, but Amorim would have required Liverpool to dig everything up and start again. And with how close they were, what's the point? And I just think that's what City are going to do. So I don't think it's damning in any way, shape, or form for Pep Guardiola. I don't think he's trying to save any of his legacy. I think he will help the club rebuild, but that's because he has a boss at the club, and that boss is going to demand that they do that at the same time. It can't just be about Pep's legacy.
Too much credit then to like Klopp and Pep saying that, they rebuilt, because like when Tom was listing off all those players that they replaced, you kind of needed to do that anyways for Klopp. Not even to think about the next guy. Klopp just needed some new signings.
It's the stability of it.
So sorry, can I just ask Nobbins a question on this? So when it comes to, unless I'm completely mistaken, because I've heard Pep say this, and you're a City fan, you know more than me. Like, Pep isn't running the recruitment side of things. It's very much, he might suggest players and positions they need, but when it comes to the players that you sign, you have a whole team of people that do that at the club and support Pep in that way, right?
Yeah, of course. Like there are specific signings from our sporting director, yeah. And one of the reasons why Pep signed an extension is because of our terrible run that we went on. So he actually wanted to stay at the club to sort of in his words, quote, make things right. So he didn't want to leave and have the next manager inherit, this incredibly aging side. He wanted to be...
That sounds awfully similar, Nobbins.
Sorry?
Why would he want to do that, right? Why would he want to do
because Jurgen Klopp was going to leave at the end of 22-23, but he said, I can't leave the squad and the team in that position.
When was his contract?
No, he was just going to walk. He was just going to walk. He felt he was done, but he stayed on one more year to help through the transition and to make sure that
But when was that contract up?
That contract was up in 2026, I think.
Okay, reasonable. I don't know. Pep's always gone on records and said how he's always got a contract to fulfill and how he will do that. I'm of the view that it's a twofold thing. Like people were saying, is he building the squad for himself? Is he building it for the next manager? I think both things can be true. I think that he's rebuilding the squad. Obviously, the age is getting younger. We have one of the oldest squads in the Premier League. So I think it's twofold. He's building a squad for himself, but he's also acknowledging that this is probably his last contract. So he wants to ensure that whoever inherits the side walks into a good team rather than one which requires, open heart surgery or whatever term you want to use, with like the one he inherited, basically, which required a mental summer window, when you've got, of course, there were some fantastic players. I think our average fullback age was about 32. It needed like a lot of investment put into it. And I don't think he wants a similar prospect for whoever walks in following him.
Yeah.
So I think both things are correct.
Wait, so I do have just like one last question, just like on like this kind of topic. So, and it's for the panel. I don't care who answers. So if Slot wins the Prem and the UCL this season, hypothetically, let's say he does the double, you don't think that would dim the light from Klopp? In his first season, he comes in.
It would just
like
shine a brighter light on Slot. It wouldn't be like dimming any light on. It would just be a bright light on Slot. It wouldn't change anything that Klopp did. Absolutely, he's a legend and he has a great legacy. I don't think there's anything Slot can do in this season to like overshadow.
There's nothing really Arne Slot could do because Jurgen Klopp done a much different things what Arne Slot done or has done and could potentially go on to do. Arne Slot would deserve all the praise in the world if he goes and does a double in the first season. But there has to be an acknowledgement that he's been put into that position from the foundations left by Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp didn't have to go, but Jurgen Klopp sort of took a step back and realised that I'm probably not the best man for this job. I can I can set the foundations up for the next managers to come in and take over a young, hungry squad that is ready to take that next step. So Arne Slot got the success off the shoulders of what Jurgen Klopp had built. That's why both of them would receive praise. If Jurgen Klopp had left the squad in the state that it was in 2022 with an old Henderson and an old Fabinho and an injured Keita and an old Milner, and Arne Slot came in, ripped everything up, brought all his players in, and then done a double, then yes, that would probably diminish from Jurgen Klopp because he left the club in a bad spot, and then Arne Slot stepped in, rejigged everything in a year, and went the whole way. But Jurgen Klopp left the club in such a stable situation.
Yeah, I think Slot has got to win a fair amount more than Klopp to surpass him. It can't be equal or slightly more because people will understand that Jurgen Klopp was so fundamental in that build as an example. I think if Pep leaves in say they win no more league titles, City, but Pep helped build a brilliant team, and the next guy comes in win back-to-back Champions Leagues. I don't think City fans will go, "Oh, he won 2 Champions Leagues. He's better than Pep." They will understand that Pep put so much into that to make that team that great. So yeah, I think that's a massive part of it. I need to move on. We're going to run out of time. We're going to. Sorry, what were you going to say? Sorry about the comments.
There's a really good comment from Olakunle 007. He said, "Stop this dimming light nonsense." Bob Paisley took over.
Is that your alt?
Shankly, we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't discredit Shankly. No, but this is Ola. This is very, very true, my friend. And I think for me, this is why this kind of talks crazy. I've praised like the handover, and I've had Liverpool fans in my message and chat going, "Don't you dare take away from Slot." It's nothing to do with that. It's praising a different part of your football club, and it's taken nothing away from managers whatsoever, but it's just the truth of the situation. Nick here says, Poch in May, it's not only if the owners are happy, because you need to ask us also, because maybe we are not happy and we need to split everyone end the Poch narrative and focus on the problems now, is what Nick says here. Slot is definitely getting more out of the players. Yeah, but Ronan, Klopp explained that, and I'm going to defend him here as a United fan. He said he ran out of energy, and it makes sense. That doesn't take away from Jurgen Klopp. What would have been the worst thing for him to have done is carry on taking the money and stay another year when he's got less energy, and another year with less energy. There's a manager in North London that should have probably walked out 4 or 5, 6 years before he did, and he stayed on too long. He's done the absolute right thing, in my personal opinion. My granddad still holds Shankly above Paisley. I would say most Liverpool fans I've ever met put Shankly above Paisley, even though Paisley won more, because of what Shankly the foundation that he built, you know. And look, clubs do it for different reasons, but that's certainly there. And I think you're right there, Sean. Obviously, Liverpool, they've got 11 points clear. We spent a bit of time talking about Slot there.